Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Well, we did get somewhat of a verdict from the LBRY case yesterday, guys. John Deaton did a great job, faced the judge yesterday on January the 30th. And guys, check this out. This is the LBRY token, the LBC credit to USD price. And just over yesterday, I've got it on the hourly here, just over yesterday, it went up about 90%. Now, I mean, it has taken a bit of a hit. Sellers were selling, obviously, to reclaim some profit here. And LBC, I mean, not a huge cryptocurrency by any means. It's been a big case with regards to crypto regulation in the United States. But the popularity of the token, the liquidity, not as much as a cryptocurrency like XRP. So I do think when we do see more clarity surrounding XRP, I think we're going to see something similar, but most likely even bigger. So what happened yesterday with John Deaton, guys? I'm going to get to that in a bit. First, wanted to talk a little bit about the market and Bitcoin's hash rate. It's on an absolute tear right now, as per Will Clement. Not only is the absolute value at all-time highs, but this is also the most aggressive 30-day increase ever. So check this out, guys. This is the hash rate for Bitcoin, 30-day change in hash rate, and you guys can see it is tearing up the charts. You can see the 30-day change in blue, comparing that to November, December. Take a look at that, guys. Bitcoin hash rate is up. Obviously, this is a turning tide for Bitcoin, at least in terms of hash. Right now, I've got Bitcoin on the hourly. Let me throw it on the daily here. Not too much with regards to price movement on the daily, although we are still holding this level of support. Crypto market hasn't really moved too much in the last few days. XRP is back up now above 40 cents, so that's a good sign. Here's what I found interesting, though. 85% of Bitcoin buying is done by U.S. institutions. So if that isn't an indicator of where cryptocurrency is going to go next, I don't know what is, as a recent recovery on the crypto markets is gaining a lot of attention. Many speculators are interested in who is doing the actual buying. It turns out that around 85% of the Bitcoin that has been bought is due to the actions of U.S. institutions, guys. So the institutional money flowing into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which indicates the importance of institutional capital when it comes to market direction. This also indicates that many see the long-term future for the digital asset space, which is a rather bullish sign for the rest of retail investors thinking about diversifying into a new sector. 85%, wow. And that is U.S. institutions. This is a very positive, bullish sign. According to technical crypto analyst here on Twitter, he posted that last week. The data was shared in a January 27th report from Matrixport, which suggests that it can be distinguished whether a digital asset is more favorable by retail or institutional at any given time based on whether that asset is performing well in the United States or Asian trading hours. So U.S. traders, 85% of institutional money, guys. This is not retail. This is institutional, rather bullish on Bitcoin. I mean, it doesn't hurt that we are also getting bills proposed like this. Another one from XRP Crypto Wolf here. Arizona senator introduces a bill again to make Bitcoin legal tender. So, this is again just part and parcel to where we are going to eventually see this going. And, hopefully we get more states like this jumping on board. So this was proposed by Wendy Rogers. She introduced a bill that proposed to make Bitcoin legal tender within the state of Arizona. Unfortunately, that bill was unsuccessful and was unable to actually pass, but it seems that Rogers has decided to reintroduce a new set of bills to once again try to make this a reality. And the purpose essentially is to give Bitcoin the same use case that one would have with the US dollar, which is what would make Bitcoin truly legal tender. They did it in El Salvador. Spend the Bits is making it happen, for other companies that want to accept Bitcoin. That is a Canadian company. They're also working with El Salvador and now trying to get more Canadian businesses who want to accept Bitcoin, who may have wanted to in the past, but the process was so cumbersome. Well, on the XRP ledger, they have created an application to transfer Bitcoin over the XRPL to make those payments seamless, and they have succeeded in that. So we're seeing the narrative shift. We're seeing more people start to accept Bitcoin, and I know it's not going to be the currency that moves all the money or anything like that. But Bitcoin is still, it's still seen as a valuable cryptocurrency. It's the granddaddy of all cryptos. And so, people still paying attention to Bitcoin. Obviously, the institutional investors, the 85% of Bitcoin buying that's happening is from American institutions. So all things to be paying attention to. Wanted to thank XRP Crypto Wolf for pointing these out. David Schwartz also pointing this out. Prepare to be shocked. Well, apparently a judge has now allowed for the identities of Sam Bankman-Fried's bail guarantors to be made public. Yeah, they granted $250 million bail, and everybody was wondering who these people were. The two people who helped former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried with his $250 million bail bond could have their identities revealed next month after a recent ruling by the judge. It's Judge Kaplan, Lewis Kaplan. He granted the joint petition from 8 media outlets to unseal the names of the two individuals for the limited purpose, guys, of asserting the public's claimed right of access to the identities. He noted, however, that there was not much weight in favor of either side of the argument. So, I mean, people are just curious, but it is our right to know who these people were. And so, I mean, people are on Twitter placing bets already. Mr. Whale here, saying, the courts have just ruled that the identities of the two people who secured SBF's $250 million bail can be made public. So who do you think they were? And he's not the only one placing, this question out on Twitter. David Schwartz joking down here, number 2 will shock you. Perry down here saying surely number 1 is Gary Gensler and number 2 his mom. Since he exclusively donated to the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, I'm going to guess they want to return the favor. This from the Crypto Ginger here. Gary Gensler and Senator Warren. Again, another good guess here from George. How about Kevin O'Leary? I think that is my favorite guess. I mean, we know he did have a vested interest in FTX, and he even said that he was willing to fund another project by Sam Bankman-Fried. Shell Corp 1 and Shell Corp 2, Hunter Biden and Zelensky. Wow, some interesting guesses here. Kevin O'Leary and Mark Cuban. Probably some randos from Zimbabwe or something like that. CZ and Musk. Well, I highly doubt it is CZ. Elon and Tom Brady. So a lot of good guesses here. I will link this tweet thread in the description of the video if you guys are interested in chiming in on this. We are going to be getting these names next month, which is, technically tomorrow. I'm assuming they mean February. So yeah, the latest in SBF news. And, and then there was this. Along those lines, LMAO No Way from Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed here. The Bail Project. So for those of you guys who do not know, the Bail Project is a national nonprofit organization that pays bail for people in need, reuniting families and restoring the presumption of innocence. And, speaking of Sam Bankman-Fried's bail, take a look at who's over here, guys. Mike Novogratz is part of the Bail Project. So he is one of the team leaders. Interesting to note that considering we're all guessing who Sam Bankman-Fried's bail guarantors are. Don't know if it is Mike Novogratz or if it was connected to the Bail Project or not. Someone else also guessed that it could have been his parents. Anyway, spending too much time on this. Going to move along, guys, because yesterday, we got some interesting news from the judge on the LBRY case. Michael Branch here bringing this to our attention. The judge stated that he cannot stop LBRY users from trading LBC. So, as we're getting this news, LBRY did post a message last night from a group in support at the bail hearing. The SEC! That's right, the sentiment is clear. Nobody likes the SEC. We are against corruption and essentially the SEC not doing us any favors. So here we go. These are the highlights from yesterday. The LBRY case could in fact influence the Ripple SEC case. And I recently did a video on this. I did this just yesterday talking about the court case that was coming up. If you guys didn't catch that video, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. After referring to an article written by commercial contract lawyer Louis Cohen, John Deaton, argued that as per the article, there is no mention of LBC as a security. So John Deaton played a role in this case yesterday. I guess I should go up here and just kind of reiterate for those of you guys who didn't catch yesterday's video. The lawsuit against LBRY by the SEC had its last hearing on January the 30th, which was just yesterday, where the judge concluded that LBC secondary market transactions are not securities. Here, John Deaton, who is the co-founder of Crypto Law, played an important role during the hearing. So as I was saying here, referring to an article by commercial contract lawyer Louis Cohen, Deaton argued that as per the article, there is no mention of LBC as a security. This gave rise to a discussion in the court, after which the judge stated that he cannot stop LBRY users to trade LBC as it's not a security. This statement will now act in favor of other crypto-related cases like the Ripple SEC case. And so there is a tweet down here just commenting on that. Crypto Law did write up a report if you guys are interested, so I will link this in the description for you. John Deaton gained appreciation for his commendable action where the SEC claimed that LBC is a token and not a security. One such appreciation came from Hogan & Hogan law firm partner Jeremy Hogan and Eleanor Turret, a journalist at Fox Business. So Jeremy Hogan came out and said this: the SEC admitted on record that the token itself is not a security. Good job, Mr. Deaton. And Eleanor Turret also chimed in here. Number one takeaway, the SEC lawyers in the LBRY case conceded OTR that secondary market sales of LBC tokens do not constitute a security. No one fights harder for the crypto community than John Deaton. Imagine how easy the SEC would have it if it weren't for him. I mean, John Deaton really has been putting the gears to the SEC, has not given them an easy time to prove their case. And this is exactly what we need. I mean, the XRP community is very, very lucky to have attorneys like John Deaton in the space, basically fighting for us. And here's John Deaton, guys, in a nutshell, explaining what happened yesterday.
And never once was there a case that said the underlying asset is a security, right? Beavers are beavers, but they were used in an unregistered securities offering. Bitcoin has been used in an unregistered securities offering. Chinchillas have been used. Condos have been used. Orange groves and oranges have been used. That does not mean the underlying asset is a security. So that's basically what we're saying and explaining to the judge that his decision, I said to him, look, that article says that your decision reads like you could be saying that LBC is a security in and of itself, the token itself. And judge, if you don't mean that, then we need to clarify something. So when the judge and I are going back and forth, the judge then explained to me that he's not inclined to give an injunction. And so that's out the window. There's a great victory there. There's not going to be an injunction that can be applied to users like Naomi or anyone else. But then I said to him, Judge, great. You're not going to give an injunction, but you still please have to address this secondary market issue. And I pointed out to him that there's so much confusion about it. And then he did something great. He basically looks over at the SEC and says, you agree, right, with him that, imagine that. I want everybody to imagine that a judge looking over at the SEC attorney saying, you agree with Deaton, right? They weren't that happy about it. But they then said, well, what if it is a particular agent of the person? And then it could be, and the judge said, you got to make a commitment. And the judge did something great. He said, let's use an example. And he said, LBRY sold to an investment club who took the LBC and put it in cold storage, a direct sell. The judge said, I found that to be an unregistered securities offering. And you agree with me, right, SEC? And they go, yes. Then the judge said, but if Flipside sells it to someone else in the secondary market, independent of LBRY, you got to agree that that's not, my order doesn't apply to that scenario. And that's the victory that we got. The SEC had to concede that on the record in real time. So call that what you want, but that was great.
Sounds like a victory to me. The judge almost ambushing the SEC, essentially stating, okay, we got one transaction directly with LBRY, that would be considered a security offering, but the secondary market sales flip side to the third party, that would not be a security, and the SEC had to agree. Looks like an SEC loss in the LBRY hearing to me, says Digital Asset Buy here on Twitter. So guys, we got some good policy coming down the pipe. Thomas down here saying, agreed, John has been a godsend. I regret so much that I did not get into Bitcoin in the early days. Now with XRP, I hope to get a shot. John is fighting for all of crypto. Thank you for covering this saga. MickYD_XRP here saying, if there was an award for Crypto Person of the Year, then John Deaton would get my vote all day long. I do not disagree. As I've said, John Deaton's been great for the community, been an amazing beacon of hope for XRP hodlers. And now, guys, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, this statement will now act in favor of other crypto-related cases like the Ripple and SEC case. Mike here apparently sat through the case, just sat through the LBRY court case. It was awesome to see it in the front row. John Deaton did a phenomenal job. Judge admitted the token is not a security, but would not go as far as put it in his final ruling due to the SEC not asking for the ruling on that. But the SEC openly admitted that it did not ask for secondary sales to be considered. Looking great for XRP holders. I'm sure John Deaton will have much more to say. The future is here asking an important question. Wait, if they don't ask for the final ruling, then what's the point of the meeting? That was the point of the final hearing, right? The judge made it clear, this coming again from Mike, that in the final remedy, he will make it clear that he is not ruling on secondary sales. The SEC openly admitted in court that they do not consider secondary sales securities. And so that is, I think, the most important point. We had to get them to admit it, because once they admit it, This sets a precedent for future cases, or it can. Bill Morgan here also chiming in on this. He may not rule today. There is a lot at stake, and it is not an issue. Secondary market sales not involving the issuer of the token, where he has any precedent specific to crypto. He took months to deliver judgment after the oral hearing he held for the summary judgment motions. And Bill here just responding to Eleanor Turret's tweet, if the judge rules that secondary market transactions of LBC by people unaffiliated with or have no investment intent in LBRY are legal, it could set a precedent that would be favorable towards XRP users. So the judge not ruling today on this, but guys, again, I think this is a win for XRP holders, obviously a win in the LBRY case. Unfortunately, they have been the collateral damage in the crypto space, but I think once and for all, we can all say with confidence and pride, because of this win, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.